Hey, what's up? Hello everyone, welcome into Fantasy Filmball, the show where we turn movies into sports and sports into something we don't talk about here. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl. You know what time it is. It is Oscar madness, and we are down to the final four. I mean, some upsets have happened, some upsets did not happen, but Matt, let's recap what happened last week before we, set the stage for our final matchups.
So last week was our Elite Eight, and these are the matchups and how they turned out. So the first matchup we have is the first seed, Everything Ever All at Once, which faced up against the 8th seed, the Fabelmans. Obviously, Everything Ever All at Once came out on top. What's the percentage there, Dylan?
About 62 to 38, so a little bit on the closer side, but not our biggest blowout of the rounds.
Yeah, it's closer than I would have thought for Everything Ever All at Once. The next matchup that we had was the 20th seed of Babylon versus the 21st seed of Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And the winner of that matchup was Babylon. Now, I haven't seen the percentage here, but I'm expecting this one was relatively close.
This was tied for our closest matchup at 55 to 44%. Babylon takes the win here. This was the lowest seed alive, and it's going to be our lowest seed here in the Final Four, which I know as a member of Babylon Hive, I'm very excited, but I know that you may be a little upset that Pinocchio made it this far but couldn't get it all the way.
I wouldn't say I'm upset because I get it. I wasn't expecting anything more. This makes sense. It's too bad in my mind, but you know what? It does make sense. Then the next matchup that we have here was the Banshees of Inisherin, the 2nd seed, versus the 7th seed overall, Avatar: The Way of Water. And, of course, the Banshees of Inisherin came through victorious. And what's the percentage there?
Well, in the Battle of the Banshees, we had our biggest blowout, 73 to 27. Avatar is happy with its run, but obviously it was not going to take down Banshees.
That's still, honestly, much closer than I expected it to be. It makes me feel less bad about that Everything Ever All at Once, 65% right there.
Yeah, this was the biggest blowout of the round.
And then the final round that we have here, we have the 19th seed, the Batman, versus the 6th seed, Tar. And the victor here was Tar, of course. But what is the percentage right here? Because you said that it was a tie for the closest percentage.
Vengeance could not take down another behemoth on its route to the Final Four. It was another 55 to 44% here. Tar, there's just too many people who have this as their number one of the year. Batman put up a great run, but obviously my two favorites of the year had to come to a close here in the Elite Eight. However, that brings us to our Final Four, and we have, I think, a pretty, diverse range of movies here. We have 3 Best Picture nominees. We have one that did not make it in, but I don't think you could quantify any of these 4 movies as being very similar to another one.
It's not what I would expect in the top 4. I would have definitely expected Top Gun to be up here in that Final 4. But that said, this is pretty good for what we've got. So the first matchup we have here is, of course, the 1st seed, Everything Everywhere All at Once, going up against the 20th seed, Babylon. What is your prediction? Give me your expert analysis, because you are winning the predictions contest. What's your expert analysis of what goes down from here?
Even as a Babylon fan, I won't be voting Babylon here, and I feel like many other people out there will have the same reasoning. I expect this to be maybe 80-20, but after seeing that Fabelmans matchup, maybe it'll be more of like a 60-40, 65-35 type thing, but Everything Everywhere should continue its steamroll into the championship matchup.
Into our next matchup, we have the 2nd seed overall, the Banshees of Inisherin, up against the number 6 seed overall, Tar. And what is your analysis here? Because I think this one is a very close match.
You could say I underseeded Tar, putting it at the 6th seed. When I originally did these, it was before the Oscars had happened. It was right after nominations, and I had just ranked the Best Picture nominees just in order of how likely I thought they had a chance to win Best Picture. And it was down at number 6, so maybe it should have been a little bit higher, but regardless, we're here. And I know that you had a very similar bracket that you ran on Reddit, and Banshees won that overall, so that's why I'm leaning more Banshees in this matchup as well. But when I originally did my predictions all the way back in the early parts of March, I did have Tar winning this matchup.
I think Banshees will win this, but when I did my predictions, I had Tar winning and coming 2nd place. But that said, I do think that the Banshees of Inisherin will come through, and in the final round, we're going to see a matchup between the 1st and 2nd seed, Everything Ever All at Once, versus the Banshees of Inisherin.
Everything Everywhere will probably win that matchup, but I'm more interested in our third place matchup of whether that's Tar or Banshees going against Babylon, because I could see Babylon maybe prevailing there. I won't say I'm predicting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
I would be a little bit surprised. Babylon has been hanging on by the skin of its teeth the entire time. If I'm not mistaken, it's been in 2 matchups where it's lost by 1 vote, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think it beat the Menu very closely. It beat Maverick pretty close. And even this past week
Yes.
against Pinocchio, it was one of the closer ones as well. So it's been barely winning, but it has been winning. So we'll have to see. Obviously, I think its win streak will end this weekend, but the Cinderella run made it all the way to Final Four. And I know we're a whole year out, but I'm really excited to see what movie could be that next year.
I am too. Make sure you go and vote. It's in the description. You can check out our full bracket of 64, and you can vote. Make sure that you get your voice heard, because this is all coming to a close in the next couple of weeks. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for voting. My name is Matt.
My name is Dyl, and this is Fantasy Filmball.